Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and this week we're going to take you out on a couple of midwinter adventures here in Michigan. Jimmy and I were both out in the goose fields for the late season hunt that happened in January. I was down in the Ann Arbor area, and Jimmy was just up the road.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Lots of good wintertime activity on this week's show. And right before we show you those two good goose hunts, we're going to show you something that we've been trying to do now for a couple of years. We're able to join our good friend Keith the Beard Stanton for some great pike spearing action. You won't want to miss that. Lots of good stuff on this week's show, so you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Zimmer Roofing and Construction in Port Huron, featuring Duralast roofing systems made in Michigan. Zimmer Roofing and Construction provides installation, maintenance, service, and repair, serving commercial and residential clients on the web at zimmerroofing.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and we kick off this week's show with the conclusion of my 3-year quest to spear pike on camera.
I think we found the spot, Jordan. There he is, right there, looking at our camera. Look at him. Oh, yeah. Hey. Hey. Must be he got the memo. I thought I seen another one in the background here.
How often does that happen?
It's happened before, but it doesn't happen often. I think we may have found the right spot, huh?
Well, it's mid-January. We're back out here on the ice. I'm with Keith again. We're trying to spear a pike. All signs look good. We haven't started actually spearing yet, but when we put the underwater cam down just to check the depth and check the clarity, there was a pike right in front of the camera. So probably the best start you could have. We've already had a couple flags go off. We haven't had a fish actually stay on, but they're at least getting hit. So there's a lot of pike in here, and we're hoping for the best. So we'll see what we can do.
After checking a few flags, we finally got settled into the spearing shed, where it didn't take long at all for the action to start.
Right there. That was a big fish, Jordan. Oh. Did you see him?
I was just watching the underwater cam.
That was over 30. Jordan, we weren't set up. We literally have not been in here 5 minutes.
No.
That was a big fish.
Yeah, it was.
Well, this particular spot we're at today, good friend of mine, Andy Thomas, turned me on to this, and what it is we're on a great big flat here, and in the center of this flat is a divot, almost like you think of a golf ball, and that divot is about 10 feet deep, and it's only about a 20-yard circle. And what's going on in that big divot is that there's just plumes of panfish, crappie and bluegill, hundreds, thousands of fish. All the way around it is this 3-foot shallow flat, and around the edges of the deep hole there's tall standing weeds. This is a pike's dream right here. They're just staged all the way around this hole. And yesterday I did a little recon fishing, jig fishing, end up landing a pike, but seen 5 or 6 different pike while I was jig fishing. And these pike are just, as I moved around the hole, you know, searching for pike, they're just laying in wait on the edges of these tall weeds for these panfish. It's one of those ideal spots, and people always ask me, where do I go or what do I look for? Drop-offs are great, no doubt about it, but if you can find a spot like this, kind of an oddity of what's going on, something going on under the water that's just totally different, totally unique to the body of water, it's always a great spot to set up on. And we've just seen fish after fish after fish today.
There were pike everywhere, and this was quickly becoming one of the best days of pike fishing that I had ever been a part of. If we weren't looking at one through the spearing hole, it seemed like one of us was out checking a flag. And this time, we had finally caught up with a nice fish on a tip-up.
This has literally been the best day I've ever had in the spearing shack as far as numbers of fish we're seeing. Something happened between last year and this year where Jordan's all of a sudden a lucky charm this time. So this one's been off a while. He's taken quite a bit out, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the retrieve. Pike number 1 of the day on the ice. We've got tons of them in the spearing hole, so hopefully we can get a spearing one.
Well, I'm not sure what we've done to deserve this day. Must be clean living or something, because we have seen a ton of pike. I talk about this a lot, but trying to film hunting or film fishing, it's so much more difficult than people realize. We've had several pike that we could have speared if that's just what we're out here trying to do, but we're running 3 different camera angles and we're trying to get all 3 cameras at once, and thankfully there seems like there's a lot of fish here, so I think we can get it done at some point. But you know, we've had a couple of nice fish come in, and when they're only on one of the cameras or they're not on any of them, and trying to get that all figured out has been a little tough. But I've never seen this many pike in my entire spearing career as we've seen in our first hour today. So I'm pumped. Keith is pumped. We're going to get it done. It's just a matter of time until we get to one to cooperate with all 3 of the cameras.
Right here. Oh, I think he's short. What do you think?
He's legal.
He is?
He's legal. He's legal. If you want him, take him. He's legal.
What do you think?
Up to you. We got plenty of fish, but he's 27, 28.
We can get him to come back in the center of the hole.
He's 27, 28.
I'll look at him in the underwater cam.
He's definitely legal.
If I can get him to turn around, I'll take him.
Okay. Yeah, he's 5 pounds, 4 pounds.
Just as I was starting to wonder if maybe we were being a little too picky about getting a fish on all 3 cameras, we had a nice fish show up in just the right spot.
Oh, big one right below. Is that underwater? Is that on the underwater cam?
Just his head is. You'll get him if you'll get him.
Do you want me to wait for him to come out?
I say take him, dude.
Can't really see him right now.
I say take him. I've got him on both. Take him, dude. Take him. You get him? That GoPro ain't working.
It definitely, you can see how it got kicked up, that it
GoPro
grabbed a lot of water.
That was a good fish.
I know, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that GoPro.
It felt hard to throw,
That
too.
GoPro ain't, as soon as you threw it, that spear went.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what to say. I just missed my second pike on camera. Great fish, and kind of snuck in on us. We had a smaller fish that we've had in the hole several times, and we're just not convinced that he's substantially over the legal limit. I do think he's legal, but you know, when you're spearing, it's not like you can put him back. So we wanted to make sure, and while we were watching that fish, we had this other fish come in, and I'm as disappointed as anybody could be that we didn't get it. But I think is what happened. I'd mounted my GoPro real close to the spear, and the mount that I used was kind of a bigger mount because I wanted to make sure that I didn't donate the GoPro to the lake. And there was really a lot of resistance when I threw the spear, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to make excuses and you know, complain about what happened. It is what it is. We missed, but we're gonna take the GoPro off, and we're gonna stick with the 2 camera angle. We still have the underwater regular underwater cam. We'll be running the main camera as well, but I think we're gonna stick with 2, and hopefully we'll get lucky enough to have another one come by and line up with both cameras, and the stars and the moon align, and we can get a fish. We'll see what happens.
Not surprisingly, things seemed to really slow down after the swing and miss, and even though we were still catching a few fish on the tip-ups, things had slowed down dramatically in the spearing hole. For the first time all day, we went more than an hour without seeing a fish. But all of that was about to change as I looked down directly beneath my feet and saw the nose of a pike start to creep out.
Here you go, 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 here you go. Right there, big northern. Hurry up, George, hurry up, hit him. That's a 40-inch northern, dude. That's a 40-inch fish. Yes, sir, big pike, dude, 40-incher. Big pike, yeah, buddy, 40-incher, baby.
How fast did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy. Good stick, too.
How fast did that happen?
Yeah, dude. He's every bit of 37. I bet he's pushing 40. He got it done. I don't believe it. He got it done.
Go 3 strikes.
Solid fish, too. Perfect shot on this one. He struggled pulling it out of the hole a little bit. But what a morning. We've seen so many fish. We had a nice one come in. We were trying some cute camera angles with the GoPro and had just I can't blame Jordan again for that first swing and a miss. It was, you could see the spear deflected, and then after that miss we've sat an hour and a half without seeing a fish. We went from a fish in the hole nonstop to nothing. And we're sitting here talking and I'm just laying it on him, and I happened to look on the camera and I could see just the nose. This is a hogfish. He's pushing 40. I'm gonna say we're gonna get 37 out of it anyway. Great first fish. Woo! Woo!
Unbelievable. My pike spearing mission has been hysterical at times and frustrating at times, but to cap it off with this fish, a giant fish. I won't say it's as big as the one I missed last year, but it's in that same ballpark. And we've been sitting here for an hour or so, maybe even close to 2 hours without seeing a fish. After I missed the one earlier today, I was really thinking I wasn't going to get it done. This fish comes out of nowhere, by far the biggest fish we've seen today, and I absolutely stuck him. And it happened, I'm not kidding, I don't know, 10 seconds at max from when we saw the fish till I let the spear go. Great fish. Whew.
Finally, Keith and I had pulled it off. The 3-year mission to get a big pike on the end of my spear with good footage was finally over. This 37-inch pike was the perfect end to our story, and even better, I speared him over one of Keith's very own handmade decoys.
Last year, I started making my own spearing decoys, and before I get them out, mass produce and got them out to the masses for sale, I wanted to make sure that they held up, that they brought in fish. I don't feel good about putting something out there unless I know that it works. So we made some prototypes last year. My daughter was fortunate enough to spear her first fish on one of my pike killer decoys. Tail end of season, I ended up getting a 41-incher on one of the decoys, so obviously they worked. We took a look at them a few months later. They still held up great, so we did some mass production this year, and they have been just phenomenal this year. We've seen several fish over them today, and of course Jordan had the opportunity at the old Hog Daddy that came in on the 6-inch yellow perch and made it happen. So as I'm making these decoys, what I really take great pride and great joy in is as I'm making each one, I'm thinking, what lake is this decoy going to be in? How many fish is this decoy going to bring in? So there's kind of a sentimental value to actually hand making these decoys.
We spent the last hour or so trying to see if we could spear another pike, and although that didn't work out, we still had plenty of action.
We just had this little pike killer lure sitting down there for that. I tell guys all the time, I always like to run a fake decoy, but some days they want the live bait, so we'll usually run both at the same time. And this guy came in, and of course he's a legal fish, but he's one of them borderline fish, so you practice the look and let go, Look at the gouges in the side of him. There's bigger fish in here, that's for sure. So, he's 24, 25 inches, but he's close, so you just do the look and let go thing, And before I could get the lure out of the water, he snatched right a hold of it. So, thanks for playing, man. You made it exciting. But yeah, we've been watching this one today, and he's one of them where we think he's legal, but we're not sure. He's definitely a legal fish, but better to be safe than sorry.
We ended this trip just as we had started it, by checking flags. This had truly been one of the best days of pike fishing that I've ever been a part of, and to finally get it done with spear in hand was an incredible feeling. Special thanks to Keith Stanton for sticking it out with me for 3 long years to get it done. This is one fishing trip I will truly never forget.
Well, special thanks to Keith Stanton for letting us tag along with him over the last couple of years. That was some great footage, guys. What we're going to do now is shift gears to the goose field. Both Jenny and I were out for the goose opener, the late season opener, just a few weeks back. We had a lot of fun.
Well, we're about 50 yards downwind of all the decoys.
Okay.
Ideally, the geese are going to want to come in, land on the hilltop. We're on the downwind side of it. They've been wanting to land on the hills to get out of the wind because it is cold today. It's a little windy.
Okay.
There's been approximately 100, 150 birds in this field for the last 2 weeks, so we should have a good hunt today.
And where are the birds at right now?
They are they're in on the river.
Okay.
Right now we're in Genesee County. That's as far as I'm going to say. And we've done a lot of scouting, done a lot of preparation in the fields. So today should be a good hunt.
Now, do you need to do much calling today, or were they going to be pretty much wanting to be here?
We're just going to have to listen and see what they have to say, you know. They obviously been in here with all the tracks.
Okay.
So, and I'm not sure. I think they're all giants now. I think all the little birds are gone. And they're the ones that like to make a lot more noise.
Okay.
So we'll probably give them some when they're ways off.
Okay.
And just let them see what they do. You know, if they wind up circling and just making a lot of racket, we will too.
The temps were in the single digits and it was cold. However, Dave and the boys knew the birds wanted to be in this field, so once they were in the air, we had high hopes. The question was, would they come our way or sit down in another part of this cut cornfield?
All right, they'll slide out front. We're going to burn them. Shoot them, Dave. Now. My gun wasn't loaded.
So the shooting in the first pass wasn't quite what we were hoping for, but the thick jackets and cold hands were just the excuses we needed. Plus, we were going to get some more chances.
Yeah. Now.
Dave Sunbrandon was along for this Saturday morning hunt, as was Todd's dog, which really helped us quite a bit on a few of our longer retrieves.
There we go.
We had a lot of birds in the air today, and for whatever reason, they just wouldn't commit to our setup perfectly, but they were just close enough.
Watch that one, Dave. Put your head on him.
We're having a pretty good morning so far. Seen a lot of birds, doing some shooting. They're acting a little funny, but we're doing okay.
Coming in perfect, but
No, they're weary. They've been shot at since September, so we're doing what we can do with them. Definitely seen a lot of birds today.
Dave had done his homework. There were a lot of birds in this area, and they did want to be in our field. We had a lot of flocks that did just what this group did right here. They looked to be coming in perfectly and would just skirt our decoy spread, but Dave knew that scouting really had been the key.
Very important, because the limited amount of food for the birds and the roost. We spent a lot of time on the road, a lot of time driving, following the birds, scouting them, obtaining permission. It's probably 50% of the time is scouting. And the other 50% is having the fun of hunting them. So if you don't put the road time in, you won't find the birds.
Well, how'd we do, young fella?
Did pretty good. What do you think we got? About maybe 8?
Something like that, half a dozen or so.
Yeah, one cold, crazy, adventurous afternoon, I'd say. A lot of shooting.
We had fun, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, we did have a good time despite the Arctic weather. The birds were here, we saw a lot, got some good shooting, and ended up with about a half a dozen birds or so. Did we set the world on fire? Well, no. But for the January opener, we couldn't have asked for much more. Good friends, good dogs, father and son in the field together. Well, to me, it was about everything you could hope for here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
With all of these crazy frigid temperatures that we've been having here in Michigan this winter, it was kind of difficult to find a group that was hardy enough to take the low temperatures and head out for the late season goose hunt that happened in January. Well, I headed out with Steve Savoy and his crew, and one of the fun things about going with Steve is the hunts always start out in the RV. Steve, what's going on here? We got the party wagon?
Yeah, we're loading up for an afternoon hunt, goose hunt. There's been quite a few geese around, but last night it got to 6 degrees, so we'll see if they didn't leave.
All right.
We'll find out by 5:29.
All right.
We're off. Another wild goose chase.
All right.
They've been coming in here, 3 o'clock, 3:30 to feed in the evening, but today we got in here at 1 o'clock and they were here already. And we went by the field at 12 and they weren't here, so they got in here probably about 12:30. And we scared them out of here and they haven't returned. Not in great numbers. We got a couple. Like I say all the time, if you're after meat, go to Kroger's. If you're after a good time, go hunting or fishing.
Cool.
These guys, it's kind of like goose hunting is like golf with guns, it's a social event.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting to see all the birds in the air when we got to the hunting land. There were hundreds of geese and ducks landing right where we needed to be. The only problem now was finding a way to Steve's spot without spooking the geese out of here.
We've got about an acre of standing corn in the middle of about a 300-acre field. And we just get in the corn, don't move. And it's good cover. It's good natural cover. We had a pit in another field and kept filling up with snow and was a lot of trouble. Plus the animals use it when we're done. They feed in it. Deer use it, so it works out good for everybody.
With all of the commotion happening, the guys somehow managed to drop the first goose of the day. Steve and his two guides had a group of clients today who ranged in experience level from seasoned veterans to first-timers. They were all pretty revved up to see so many geese in the air here. The problem right now was that Steve and the guys weren't even able to set the decoys out in the field yet for fear of scaring off the big group of geese that were still feeding out in front of us. They finally found a moment and just went for it.
All right, take up.
Well, the camera lady missed the second and final goose of the day. Legal hunting time came to an end today, but these guys braved the wicked cold temps and were rewarded with 2 geese for their efforts. Late goose season runs through February 15th in the South Zone. I'm sure these hunters will be at it again before it's all said and done. Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online. You can do that a couple of different ways on our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com or check us out on Facebook. Jimmy and Jordan and I are on there letting you know what we're up to and where we're headed next. And speaking of what's happening next, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up on Michigan Out of Doors over the next few weeks.
Well, there is lots of good things coming over the next several weeks here in Michigan Out of Doors. We're continuing to do a little ice fishing, some rabbit hunting, some predator calling all around the state of Michigan. And coming up over the next few weeks here in Michigan Out of Doors, we're getting ready for our 2 big buck nights. We do one of those at Outdoorama in February and one at the Ultimate Sports Show in March. So if you shot a big buck this year, or if you know someone that did, you want to go ahead and get that deer scored by Commemorative Bucks of Michigan. That's how we get our entries for our big buck night, and we invite folks from that list. So if you shot a big buck this year, go ahead and get that measured and let us know what that score is, and the folks at CBM will be giving us those scores as well. So thanks so much for joining us this week here for Michigan Out of Doors, and hopefully, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by By Showspan, producing consumer shows including Outdoorama February 27th through March 2nd at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features tackle, trips, boats, outfitters, wildlife encounters, and of course, Big Buck Night. That's Outdoorama in Novi February 27th through March 2nd. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
That I think he's going to have to take home with him, and it's his very own pike killer beard. And now this is the long hair model. And then this will fluff out nice, Jordan. Don't let this smells. But I mean, if you're going to be spearing, he's on the books. He's got to take this home with him, and I better see on future shows him doing a stand-up interview with this on. But this is yours to keep, Jordan. Hang this on the wall, cherish it, do what you're going to do. But anyone that's spearing giant northerns has got to have one of these, and I know you're pretty patchy, so this one will do it for you. So congratulations on your first fish, man. I've had a lot of fun getting it with you.